Hi, IEW students, Mrs. Mick here. I wanted to, because we had so many students gone, I wanted to take just a brief minute to kind of explain some of the things that we discussed in class. This won't be everything, but it'll be kind of a quick discussion. As we've been looking at our Faces of History paper, one of the big things that we wanted to kind of understand is that the Knights essays that we're doing are our pattern or our roadmap to how we want to do Faces of History. So let's take a look at what I mean by that. As we look on the board, I know my pen is not super dark, but hopefully you'll see that it says Faces of History, FOH, equals Knights. What this means is that as we did our Knights KWOs, right here, we did 1, 2, or maybe even 3 source texts. And from those source texts, as we did lesson 17 and then lesson 18, we wrote multiple KWOs. We did topic A, maybe how to become a knight. Maybe that was topic A. And then maybe you skipped through and you read a few more paragraphs and you did topic D about being loyal to a king. And that was all from source text 1. You did not write a KWO for all of source text 1. Instead, you just thought about the topics or the subject matters that were discussed in the different paragraphs, and then you wrote a KWO that was specific to the topic. Similarly, as you read source text 2, you maybe wrote again, maybe you still really thought how they became knights was interesting, maybe that was your topic A, and you wrote another KWO about that same topic, but from a different source text. And then as you got to topic B, maybe topic B was on the kind of armor that they took with them into the battle, and so you wrote that. And then if you were brave enough in lesson 18, then maybe you went ahead and did 2 more KWOs over other topics, and now maybe you wrote again about their loyalty to the king as your topic D, and then maybe you picked a new thing that you thought was interesting from that third source text, and you wrote about what it was like to be on the Crusades. Not that that was really discussed, okay? As you looked at all of your topics, then to create a fused paragraph, in week 17, you might have decided that, hey, I wrote 2 things on topic A, and that might have been what you decided to fuse together. You did not use topic D. You did not use topic B, and that was okay. Then as you came into your 3rd week, you realized that, you know what, I already wrote some information on topic D over here, and I did again over here about being loyal to the king, and so you decided to write 1 paragraph on topic D by fusing these 2 KWOs together. You never did get around to using topic B or topic C, and you released those, and they did not ever become part of your essay. By doing this, at this point in the semester, we have a essay that has 2 body paragraphs. One of those body paragraphs was on topic A because we fused these things together, and the other paragraph we turned in this week was topic D. About being loyal to the king, or whatever you ended up choosing, but you fused these 2 things together. Let's go back up here. This Faces of History essay that we're going to be doing over the course of the entire semester, not all in 1 week, is going to be done following the same pattern that we've just done at Knights. So for next week, we're supposed to bring all of our KWOs for Faces of History. If you were caught up for this week, you brought in 2, okay? You brought in 2. But for next week, I would like to see that you bring in a minimum of 3 KWOs, maybe as many as 5 to 7, so that you can follow the same pattern that we did in Knights. We want to bring in up to 5 to 7 because you might have 2 source texts, but you've taken notes over, 3 topics from one and 3 topics from another, and so you end up with many little KWOs. And we want to bring all of those KWOs. None of them should be fused together. We have not done this process yet where we're fusing together. You just bring everything that you have with you, and when we are in class together next week, we're going to put all of those KWOs out in front of us. We'll use all the tables, and and by next week, I mean 2 weeks from now, we're going to put all those in front of us, and we're going to start sorting through and deciding which topics do we want to actually keep. We did a model in class about what this might look like. We did Abe Lincoln. I know it's hard to see and I don't have time to rewrite everything, but the kids generated what do we know about Abe Lincoln? What are some topics we know about him? We know he was a president. We know that he was known as honest. We know that he had an interesting young life in a log cabin and really liked to read. We all knew that he was assassinated. We all knew that he had high ideals about abolishing slavery and went to war, okay? And so we talked about what we knew about Abe Lincoln as our example for a Faces of History person, and how we would read maybe 3 source texts, and we would have KWOs over maybe some of the sources did not talk about that he was honest. So we didn't get a KWO from source text 1, but in source text 2, we learned the whole story about why he's known as Honest Abe. Maybe both source texts, you ended up with a KWO from both of them about his early life, his young life. And they probably all discussed his assassination. And so then we ended up with that. So then we went through and we decided, okay, now if we have all of these KWOs and all of these different topics, what do we actually want to put into our Faces of History paper? And so we kind of used that as an example to understand why we're trying to bring in 5 to 7 KWOs. It's so that you can decide, hey, which of these can we blend together and fuse, and which are we going to release, so that we don't have a Faces of History paper that goes on and on and on and on. So that was kind of what we discussed with Faces of History. We also talked about doing the bibliography. So our homework over break week and then the following week is to bring in 5 to 7 KWOs, and then to now go, we're still in lesson 18. So today we finished our lesson 18 paragraph, but for lesson 18, it asked to type up the bibliography. And I said, don't do that last week, but this week we are going to go ahead and do that part of, and it'll be on the website too, but we are going to do that part of Faces of History. I don't mean that, of IEW. I'm so sorry. We're going to do that part where we type up the bibliography. You'll see that all of the source texts in your IEW book, like on page 148, if you look at the bottom, they've already written out what your bibliography needs to say. And so you might say, well, why do I need to retype it? They've already put it here. Part of this is to create a template and to feel comfortable with what a bibliography should look like when it's all done. Because why? Because Nights is our roadmap for Faces of History. And on Faces of History, you're going to have to be able to put together a bibliography. So we'll save the Nights as our template for our Faces of History bibliography. I hope this gives you a clue about what we did in class, and I hope everyone gets to feeling better. I was feeling a little rough myself too with a headache today, so I feel your pain if you're gone, and we miss you all, and see you soon.